Hey, how's it going today? Today we're gonna do something real different. I'm going to tell you guys a story about me from my past. Ooh. No, it's not. It's not that. Okay. Oh, it's definitely not that. um, it was during the time in which I was really into biking. I've always enjoyed biking. I've always biked my bicycle when I was young. That was my mode of transportation when I was younger. I really enjoyed riding my bike through my neighborhood. We had like a little pack of neighborhood kids, all from my neighborhood. We all get together and we ride everywhere. It was fun. It was fun. I used to ride. Oh my gosh, we used to ride everywhere, man. It was like from the morning almost until night. When the evening came, then right back home. Other than that, later on when I got older, I wanted to purchase a new bike, but I wanted a good bike. So I was really into those magazines in which they were showing biking. I don't know if they make them anymore. They probably do. They probably don't. It's bicycle mags, like off-road biking, hybrid type bikes. That's what I was really into. At the time, it was like, oh, hybrid bikes and stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, I want to get into that. So I looked into it and I was like, okay, I decided what I wanted to get. I think it was what was it? It was a blue Schwinn with Milano brakes and all that bicycle terminology in it, and I spent a good amount of money for the time. I probably I know a lot of people out there can spend thousands of dollars on bicycles, but for me, just working a little a job and stuff, I felt that it was enough. So I saved up to purchase this bike. I think at the time it cost me, oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember. I think it was like $500 for the time. That was an insane amount of money for a bike. They were like, what? Now, usually bikes would cost maybe like a cheap bike, a Huffy bike. Yeah, remember Huffies? Those big steel built bikes, man, they were like indestructible. They could be like, there was nothing to stop them, and you could steamroll them and they'd still survive. But no, I didn't want a Huffy. No, I wanted a Schwinn. It was a hybrid bicycle. The bike was good for road and also good for off-terrain, which I was like, wow, I really wanted to get that because I wanted to ride off-road and stuff, So I purchased the Schwinn hybrid bike. It was beautiful when I got it. I was like so happy. It was a nice bluish color. And man, I was real proud of that bike. I rode that sucker everywhere. I rode here, I rode there. When I went to living in my an apartment way back then, I used to bike to work with it. That was a good little workhorse, that little bike. I loved it, man. That bike, man, lasted for years. But at the time when I was reading, I wanted to do more. I wanted to test the capabilities of my bike. I wanted to test it out and see if it can do the all-terrain stuff that I see on the TV and in the magazines, in which these guys, going, like, ooh, over rough terrain and stuff. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna study. So I actually looked through the magazines and I found out how to do it, because at the time, I think this was like before YouTube really got popular. Now you can just go online and really look at all the stuff like They show anything, how to fix a flat tire, how to use your bike to go in outer space. Anything, it's already been done, and it's on YouTube or it's on any social media app. After a while, I said, okay, so I go to this park, okay? I go to this park and take my bike with me. So I'm ready to go. I got my shorts on. I got everything on, glasses, sunglasses, I mean. And I took my bike, took it off my bike rack, and started going, riding my bike around the park. This particular park had a, what was it called? A biking, bike terrain built for mountain bikes, and it was very hilly. This had some hills, and it when you got there, it told you like the levels. Like there was one in which beginner, and then there was the medium and the hard, or the whatever, hardcore. So me being the astute observer, I was watching everybody, and I was like thinking, I could do this. I got the hybrid bike. This bike could do anything. If I'm on it, I could conquer it. So I decide to go on the hard level. I said, I don't want to go on the little beginner level, which are like little hills like that, I'm like, screw that. I'm going to go on the hard level, man. So I did. When I got there was hardly no one there. And I was like, when I got there, okay, look, picture this. I'm like walking I'm not walking my bike yet. I get my bike and get to the start of the hardcore course. And this should have given me a pause for reflection when I saw it. The terrain goes like this. It goes directly up. And I'm like thinking, how the heck am I going to go up there? And I'm like thinking, and I'm still new at this, biking with with my hybrid bike. And I'm like thinking, I guess I have to walk it up. So I did. It took me a bit to climb my bike up. I'm like going up like this, like, and then I get to the level, to a level area, and like, oh man, there's another one. So I gotta go up again. When I get up there, I see like there's these 4 or 5 guys looking over the cliffside of this little mountain, and they're like looking, and then they look back and they see me, and I'm like, hey, how's it going? I swear to God, none of them said a word. They looked at me like they were like in some sort of shock or disgust, or maybe even horror. And they were like, they didn't say anything. They just looked at me. They looked at each other. And one by one, they went down this little ravine, this little chute going down. And then one by one, the last one disappeared. They all disappeared. And I was the only one on top of this mountain. And I'm like thinking, oh wow, so I guess I got to go down there. So I climb back on top of my bike, and I get ready. I check myself, and I look down, and I swear that was the steepest curve I've ever saw looking down. And I was like thinking, wow, man, that's pretty steep. I don't know. And so I'm like thinking, oh, okay, well, I swear to God, I just said YOLO. Before YOLO became a thing, I just went over the ravine. I mean, I just went over the cliff. I swear, in the beginning, I was grabbing on the bike like that, and I was like, okay, everything's pretty good. My bike is going, and it's going kind of fast. Everything's balanced, and then after a while, the trees, they're like, going faster. You ever saw the what was it? The Empire Strikes Back, when they're on the planet Endor and they got these speeder bikes. No, it's not Empire Strikes Back. Oh man, I feel bad that it's Return of the Jedi. I'm a bad Star Wars fan for forgetting that. It's Return of the Jedi, in which the stormtroopers are riding those speeder bikes, and then our heroes, get on the speeder bike, and they're going down the woods, and it's going like that, like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's going faster. And I swear, man, I'm going down this bike, and then all of a sudden I've noticed after going, the speed was going faster. I noticed that my bike wasn't really touching the ground. I was like almost like floating. And then all of a sudden I noticed that me pedaling it didn't even bother, because I stopped pedaling and I'm going even faster. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I was like I was in panic mode. I was like, oh my gosh, if I fall off this thing, because man, down there, it was far down. I was on a freaking cliff. I was like, if I go down this way, I'm gonna die on that other side, And then I'm like, and I was holding on for dear life on my bike. I'm like, no. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then I swear to God, people say that your life flashes before your eyes. Well, for me, it didn't flash before my eyes. My brain became, what was the word? It became like, it assessed the situation like a computer. And all of a sudden, it started reminding me of all the magazines, all the books on bikes and how, and I was like thinking, all of a sudden, I swear to God, it was like this. I swear to God, I see the magazine physically in front of me. Time slows down, and I see the magazine open, and it's showing me, and it's zooming in, and it's showing the what the technique that my butt needs to go out more, and I have to lean in more, and I was like, it was giving me all these mathematical equations, and I was like, my brain was like in hyperdrive, because it was saying, we're gonna freaking die. It's like, oh my gosh. And I was like, oh man. And then all of a sudden, it just clicked on me. The magazine just disappeared. And then all of a sudden, I put out my butt on the bike, and I stick it out as much as possible, man. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then all of a sudden, I start going down, and the bike is going, and I see the trees going like that, going so fast, like, oh, I was like holding on for dear life, and then I was going to, and then once I get to the bottom, and it's like, woo, I made it. I can't believe it. I made it. I'm not gonna die. I made it. I go down, it's like, I like smooth sailing, and for the life of me, I don't know why, when I got to level ground at the very bottom of that hill, I slammed the brakes. I fly off that bike. I fly off the bike over the handlebars, right on my back. I land, and it takes the wind out of me, and I am like looking into the sky. And I'm like, my bike is on the ground further away from me. And I swear, people don't care if you're dead on the floor, man. I saw this guy riding his bike. He looks at me and he's like indifferent about it. And he just like glances at me. He doesn't even say, hey, you okay? He like looks at me and he just keeps on riding his bike. I'm like, oh my gosh, man, if I died in the woods down down that hillside, I probably wouldn't be found for weeks later, And after a while, I got up and I dusted myself off, And I grabbed my bike. My bike was in good condition. Nothing was wrong with it. And I just picked it up. I didn't ride my bike. I just grabbed it and took it to the car, put it on the bike rack, and got in my car, went home, and I called it a day. I remember it so vividly. I mean, it was crazy. It was crazy. But wow, I could have actually hurt myself really badly doing that, because I went on an expert level course. I should have gone on the little bunny track hills, the beginner, and built up the thing. But I don't know, I had my guardian angel, whatever, or my brain started, thinking of a way to get out of this mess. And I did. And I was able to survive my bike run from hell. After that, that was the last time. I didn't do it again, because I said, I'm not gonna press my luck and try to do it. I know a lot of people will say, yeah, screw it, I'm gonna do it again. That was fun. No, I had plenty. That was the most fun I ever had for that day, that'll last me a good lifetime. And so that was it. And I rode my bike normally after that. I didn't bother doing those bike trail things, doing mountain biking. Yeah, no more mountain biking for me, man. And that bike lasted me a long time, man. It was good. How long was it? 10 years. I had that bike. And the day that the bike it got ruined after a while. I started getting rusted, and it was made out of aluminum. It didn't get rusted. It was the parts that were getting rusted, because it was made out of a light aluminum frame alloy type deal, and it was like top of the line when I first got it. And man, I felt bad. I think I sold it, because I was fixing it, and it was getting more and more expensive. And I felt like the amount of money I was spending on it was almost the equivalent of me buying another new bike. And I said, no, it was time to let it go. So yeah, I remember you, bike. You will always be in my heart. Anyway, that's it. Story time's over. But before you go, I would really hope that you can like, subscribe, and maybe comment. Tell me your stories about riding your bike. I would like to hear them. I mean, I know everyone has their own little story to tell, and I'd like to hear your tale. Anyway, you guys take care and have a fantastic day. Later.